Yes, Vortex. The moral of the story is go with yourself and to hell with everybody else. That sounds a bit sociopathic, doesn't it? Well, we don't mean it that way. It's really important that people understand that doing things for other people because you really want to do them, that's completely different than the people pleasing. The people pleasing does not come from a good place. If you're doing that shit, you better go see a therapist or something. Because and make it a point to see a good one. You know, make it a point to see one that doesn't just agree with you and tell you everything you want to hear, because that's not what a therapist is supposed to do. A therapist is supposed to help you grow as a person, and growing as a person requires pain and discomfort. Shut the fuck up. You want to talk to the Vortex? No. Huh. She's cool. She was kind of hanging there. You're a sweetheart when you want to be. You know that. Yeah, like I'm a crazy cat lady. If you like to be around animals more than you like to be around people, and I guess you could find somebody that's the same way. You could find that one person that you can stand being around. But I don't know. I just much rather be with animals. Like, anytime that I go to somebody's house and they have any animal, I spend way more time with that animal than I spend time with them. Like, you can ask this chick I go to church with, the one that had 4 babies on the kitchen floor. They used to have goats, and I went out to her family's farm, and I literally just, like, went into the little pen with the goats and just sat there and read them the Psalms. And they lied down and everything. Okay? But yeah, I didn't feel like interacting with any of the people in my church, so I went and hung out with the goats. And it's nothing against any of the people there. It's just that a lot of the time, I just don't feel like forcing myself to do things I don't feel compelled to do. You know? Now, every once in a while, it's good to force yourself to do things like that. But there's a reason why monastics spend, decades in isolation. It's because that is ideal. And anybody that tells you otherwise is working for the devil. My patron saint, Saint Mary of Egypt. I'll show you her beautiful face. I take her with me everywhere I go. That's why this icon is like that. She went out into the desert. She lived in the desert for like 40 years. Because she used to be a whore. And she couldn't get into the house of God. And she knew that the reason why she couldn't get in was because of her lifestyle. And when she had that dramatic realization, she repented. And after she repented, she was allowed in. And so she decided to devote the remainder of her life to serving God. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that. You can't expect people to understand that. In the West, where like carnal desires are every motherfucking thing, yeah, you definitely can't expect them to understand that. But yeah. My saint day was actually yesterday. April 1st. I'm reading her story tomorrow at church. But yeah. It's just amazing how far I've come. It's amazing, like, what all has changed in my life. But I'm capable of transformation. I mean, I think that everybody is, but I think that there are a lot of people that, you know, cut themselves off from that spirit. And if they cut themselves off from, like, the God that's inside of them, like, what's going to replace that? It's going to be demonic spirits. And you don't even have to believe in God to see that. Like, if you don't do things that are good for yourself, you're just going to sink more and more into your bad habits. And you're going to feel even more sorry for yourself. But, you know, I've always lived my life in a really unconventional way. Even when I was attempting to do conventional things, I always did them unconventionally and pissed people off that were boring. But, you know, if I was ever uncomfortable, which was often, if I was uncomfortable, if I didn't really understand what was going on, I try to understand it in a different way. So, for example, sporting events. Not into sports. Not at all. See, all that shit is Freemason. Okay? But I could study everybody watching the game. I could pay attention to random shit that I'm sure nobody else was paying any attention to because they were too focused on the game. You know? Damn it, I just lost! I've been winning the game for years, okay? But yeah, think about all the shit people aren't paying attention to because they're too busy on their smartphone. You know? They don't even notice things that are happening right in front of them because they're just staring at their little TV box. There could be crazy shit going on outside and you wouldn't have any idea because you're watching Netflix or Hulu or whatever. You know? But I've always paid close attention to myself and my body and my energy and what I'm thinking and feeling all the damn time. And so I don't have this option of checking out, but I'm really grateful that I don't.